Welcome back into CBS Sports HQ. Massive weekend when it comes to the Big Ten on CBS this weekend. USC at Oregon. Both of these teams are ranked. It was up in the air majorly for USC when they took on Iowa. However, they kept their playoff hopes alive. Oregon right now, they're sitting pretty at 9-1, but could they still get into the playoff if they were to lose this game? Taking a look at the sports line models, odds to make the college football playoff with a win or loss. With a win, Oregon at 90%, USC at 89%, and with a loss, I mean, that's so dramatic for USC, going from 89% to 2% with a loss. Oregon would be at 22%. Let's welcome in Brad Nessler, who's going to be on the call for this game, who really knows what's going on behind the scenes here. But let's start with those college football playoff odds. I mean, they are dramatic, and I want to start with Oregon. We had Danny Cannell on earlier, and he said, look, if they don't win, he's basically calling it a must-win, because with 2 losses, he said it's just going to be really, really hard for them to make it. How much are things on the line for Oregon in this game?
I think so too, Amanda. Their strength of schedule isn't what maybe some of the other teams that would end up with 2 losses would be. They still have to go to Washington. If they win that game, that's going to be a quality win, but it's not really a high-ranking win or anything. If both of these teams end up with 10 wins, the committee's got choices to make. I don't know how they do all that, and I don't get too much involved in it. But I know it's a huge game for the Trojans, for sure. If they can beat a 7th-ranked Oregon team on the road, which is not an easy thing to do. Indiana's the only team that beat them. We did that game. That would create a stir for the Trojans, and they still have to beat UCLA too. But so there's a little bit of football left in all of this, and you just can't assume that if the Trojans beat Oregon, they're going to beat UCLA. You can't assume that if Oregon beats the Trojans, that Washington's a cupcake game next week in Seattle. So I kind of like to wait and play it out, but I understand the odds. I don't know how they get to those things, but you told me that, so I'm going to believe you.
Yeah, according to computers, not me. According to the computers and Sportsline, that's the way it is. Look, I'm going to save you some time because it's the exact same situation with USC getting into it. Look, they need to keep winning. They need to win out. When it comes to the Big Ten as a whole, how many teams do you think could potentially make it into the playoff?
I still think 4 can get there, but we know the who two of them are going to be, and then these 2 are obviously the other ones that come into play. I just think that when you get to 10 wins, and if you can win the final ball game, Oregon, I think Oregon's in if they win out. The Trojans have to win out too. So Oregon makes 3 for sure. If they win, 4 is a possibility, but it's going to take a little bit of work, I think.
Let's look at this quarterback matchup we have coming up on Saturday. I'm going to start with Dante Moore. 90% completion percentage right now. It's a program record for him. You've been able to call a couple of his games. You've sat and talked with him. How much progress have you seen from him over the course of the season and where he is now?
Yeah, we didn't even know what to expect when we first met him. He sat behind Dylan Gabriel last year, and he learned a lot. And when he walked into our room earlier this season, I guess it was against Oklahoma State, he's a very cool customer and very cerebral. And just for how young he is and how inexperienced he was coming into the season for the most part, I was like, wow, this guy's got it going on. And right now, 73% completion. He went, a school record last week, 27 out of 30 in their win over Minnesota. And he can do it all. He's so accurate. He's so cool in the pocket. When he gets out of the pocket, especially in the open field, in the middle of the field, he's really dangerous with his feet. Now, on the other side, when you think about Jaden Mayava, he's a little bit more of a risk taker, I think, down the field. And he does bigger things, I think, when you get in the red zone. But his numbers, number 1 right now, almost 2,900 yards. And his completion his yards per completion is over 14. So the receivers he's got, Jacoby Lane and Mekhi Lemon, he can take shots down the field. And he knows with their range, as far as their catch range, if he gets it anywhere near them, they're going to catch the ball. So matchup of really 2 fine quarterbacks, really exciting guys to watch. And you can talk about Julian Sayin and Fernando Mendoza all you want. these two cats are just as exciting, if not more so, to watch.
Let me ask you this: when it comes to you've now made it to Eugene, and I know, look, it's a long trek. Our friend Ginny Dell had a great time there the first time around, but when it comes to this environment, my brother got his MBA there. I never got to go to a game. How intense is that stadium? I mean, it just seems like it is a daunting place to play, if you will.
It really is. It's it's not the biggest place in the world. It doesn't hold, almost half as many people as if you go to Michigan or Penn State or something like that. But it's something, the way the sound is built in. There's an overhang on the stadium, and the sound goes nowhere except right there's the overhangs. Right, that shoots everything down sound-wise, and it just it's an amazing place to play. The last two times we've been out there, of course, they were a little bit quieter against Indiana. They were really noisy against Oklahoma State. I think it's going to be top of the line against USC because it's an old foe. The 64th meeting between these teams, not in the Big Ten, but overall. And so I think the atmosphere is going to be sensational.
Look, you're calling the game, so we can't talk to you about betting. I will tell people watching that Oregon is almost favored by 10 points in this. But speaking to the rivalry, to where things stand with college football playoff implications and in everything on the line here, I mean, how close of a game could this be?
I think it's going to be a close game. Maybe I'm praying for a close game because we've had a lot of blowouts this year. That could be the problem. I don't know. But I'm going close game. First 1 to 30 wins. How's that sound?
Okay, I love it. Brad, we appreciate it. Safe travels. You're a long way from Eugene, Oregon. So get there safely. Have a bunch of fun.
All right, Amanda, thanks a lot for having me.
Talk to you soon. USC sitting at 15, Oregon at 7 right now. As mentioned, Oregon actually a 9.5-point favorite when it comes to Saturday. USC, they would love to pull the upset and try to punch their ticket to the college football playoff. Check it out, 3:30 Eastern on CBS Saturday.